live stream on this, right? But this is kind of the preview. But this is something I've been working on with some friends of mine. And it's a spreadsheet that goes through and kind of gives different metrics that are good to look for in an ICO before you invest. For example, if it shows me the sheets here. All right, it's still loading. But they basically, I'm kind of discovering, I mean, this is still a work in progress, right? It's sort of a work in progress, but in general, I'm finding there are kind of like 9 different metrics that are good to look for in an ICO, right? And I think it's ideal to invest when at least ideally 8 out of those 9 objectives have been met, right? So I don't know why it's not showing the other tab, right? So I basically went to ICOstats.com, looked at the top 10 performing ICOs of all time, right? And kind of found out what metrics they had in terms of what was their ICO price, what was the market cap, how many tokens they had, right? Was their product an MVP that they already had before they asked for money, right? Was there an all-star team that was building the product and the project? Did they have a team of all-star advisors? Did they, what was the other one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this screen is kind of slow. Hold up. Yeah, I think that was it. MVP, All-Star Team, and All-Star Advisors. All right, so here we go. To best ICOs of all time, right? And this spreadsheet is actually, it updates live, so I was able to kind of plug in with some functions, and it pulls in the current price and updates. Oh, I think every single day or so, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
now,
I have.
Now, is this is your spreadsheet, right, Ian?
Yeah.
That I'm looking at.
Yeah, my personal spreadsheet.
Okay. So Shaw Willie's asking if you can trust the website. So Shaw, what we're looking right now is at a spreadsheet that Ian keeps for himself to keep track of ICOs and things like that. And Ian is a very methodical person when it comes to numbers, and this is how he studies cryptocurrencies. I mean, this is advanced for me. So, but Ian, when you do something like that, are you looking at patterns? What are you looking for when you create these spreadsheets?
I mean, so I'm trying to kind of go back to the basics to show you how I kind of came to this, right? But so with this, I just kind of took different data points on all these ICOs, right? So here we have Ethereum. I think there's a lag, so let me see if you guys are seeing that yet. So I have ICOs: Ethereum, Stratus, Antshares, Spectra Coin, Ethereal, Storage, Arc, Augur, Beyond the Void, Golem, right? All these different ICOs. And then I have their current price and their ICO price, right? Then I calculate the ROI, right? Then I basically get the multiple from that. The multiple is basically how much you times your initial investment to find out how much money you could have made on that investment, right? So for example, $1,000 in Ethereum at that ICO price in 2014, right, will now be over $500,000, right? 500,000 at its current price in the spreadsheet, right? Then I have number of ICO tokens that are giving out during their initial ICO. Then total number of tokens they have total for Ethereum, right? Then I have how much of the total supply they gave to the ICO investors, right? Then I have the market cap, which is basically calculating number of tokens times their price to figure out how much the entire Ethereum market is worth, right? Then I have the market cap of all of cryptos in general during that ICO back in this particular date for each crypto, right? In this case, Ethereum in 2014, right? Then Then I also have to kind of figure out what percent of Ethereum's of each crypto's market cap, in this case Ethereum, was that of the overall crypto market cap, right? So it was only 0.031%. And then I also look at okay, because this was the market cap back in 2014, but things have changed in 2017, right? So I tried to kind of create a metric that shows the adjusted ICO market cap. So in terms of what would the market cap be for Ethereum ICO if it were to happen right now in 2017, right? So I just kind of get the multiple of the market cap right now, right? Because market cap right now in 2017 is 66 billion. But back then, during Ethereum in 2014, all of crypto market cap was only 8.7 billion. Right? So it's grown almost, what, 7 or 8 times or whatever, right? So I take that multiple and I multiply that by this to figure out, okay, the adjusted market cap of raising, what, 2.9 million would be the equivalent, would be the same as raising 22 million in today's present market space, right? Then I do that for all the cryptos. And then I also go through and analyze when they launched their ICO, was there a product they had already, a prototype, an MVP it's called, right? Then I say no or yes, right? For the most part, they had a MVP. And then I also look at, was the team made of all-stars, in the sense that were they people that are well known in the space, who've had prior success in the space, right? So that's what I kind of, I mean, this is somewhat subjective, right? But I've kind of just gone through doing different intel in different spaces, right? And kind of, you have to go through, check the team's LinkedIn page, right? See, have they worked at any big names, right? Basically checking for social proof, right? Have they worked at Microsoft, Google, JP Morgan, whatever, right? Or have they built something that's been successful in blockchains before, or in whatever industry they're going to work in, right? Then I also look at, are there advisors on the team all-stars? Are they people who are well known, like venture capitalists like Tim Draper or Fred Wilson, or is a big name like Mark Cuban backing them, right? Or is it somebody like Vitalik, who's the founder of Ethereum, that's backing this other ICO, right? So I do all of this. Then down here to basically come up with with basically a threshold of, okay, what was the highest ICO price of a coin in the top 10 ROI group, right? And the highest was Augur. Their ICO price was 60 cents. But for the most part, right, all these different cryptos, right, they all had an ICO price less than that, which means it's probably not a good sign to invest in an ICO if it has a lot more than, if it's worth a lot more than 60 cents. I mean, this obviously won't be true all the time, but as a general rule, this gives us a guideline, right?
Right.
Then the same thing over here, right? I mean, this you can just, the ROI, this we can ignore, but number of ICO tokens, right? It says, okay, at the most, for the most part, all these cryptos, the most ICO tokens they gave out was Gollum, which had 820 million investors. Total number of tokens was 1 billion with Gollum as well, right? Then market cap, ICO market cap, this we actually ignore because this is just more for in the past. We want the present market cap. Numbers to figure out, okay, in general it says, okay, don't invest in any crypto, or I mean in any ICO with a market cap of over 75 million. So I'm basically kind of creating different guidelines. Now this is all a work in progress. I've only worked on this for like the last one day, right? So things could change, right, as I go. But I take these different metrics now, and I'm now applying them to new ICOs coming out. So in this case, these are some ICOs I'm looking at and some I've invested in, right? But for example, I create almost like, I now have an ICO grading system, different 9 metrics, right? And I say, okay, you know what? For each part of the metric that you meet, each part that is green, you get one point for that. For each part you don't meet, right, you lose 1 point for that, or you basically don't earn a point, right? So now, for example, here for every ICO that's has a price over, under 60 cents, they get 1 point, right? So CoinDash gets 1 point. Propy gets no point because it's $1, right? District 0x is 0.08, right? Now I find these numbers on their ICO web pages. There are sites available to find that, like ICOalert.com or tokenmarket.net, right? So I fill in this data, right? So I go through all of this, right? So for example, Propy, once again here, they have 100 million tokens they're giving out, 100 million coins, but only 35% of that they're giving to investors. The team is keeping the rest, which is a bad sign, right? So I'm getting more bearish on Propy than I was a few days ago. Then all these other parts, they are fine, right? Market cap is under 75, right? Then I go through, okay, they all have products already, so the MVP section is going to be yes, right? And the All-Star team, 2 of them have All-Star teams, and 3 of them all have All-Star advisors, right? So I add everything up here, right? And the best ICO for this month that I'm very bullish on is District 0x, because they passed with flying colors for everything. Then Propy, not so much. They got 7 out of 9. CoinDash got 8 out of 9. Right. So as you can see, this is kind of what I'm working towards in terms of getting some kind of measure on ICOs, right? So that way you know which ones to put more money in and which ones to either pass on or to be more hesitant on.
Okay.
Right? So this is my spreadsheet, work in progress, but I might put it on the side, something, I don't know. But once it's ready for prime time, really ready for prime time, we'll know.
Now, is this a spreadsheet that you just keep for yourself, or is this also live on your website, or not yet?
Not yet. But I'll share this in my Telegram group with some buddies of mine, and we've been going back and forth on this. But because
Okay.
And the idea is to kind of add more ICOs into it, right? Because I only had like the top 10, so maybe expand like the top 25 or something.
Right.
But yeah,
that makes sense.
But yeah, so we're basically trying to do Moneyball on ICOs and cryptos, right? Because we're trying to come up quick, right?
Now, Ian, we do have a quick question, not to cut you off, but we got brother King Nick here. He asked, what are Ian's thoughts on UNIKRN, the Mark Cuban backed sports betting ICO?
Yeah. So that one I'm bullish on. Like, I've not done this stuff yet, but I looked into it briefly, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very legit. Like, it's an actual company. Right? Some ICOs have no product, whatever. Like these guys, I think they already have a product already. They even have like a live stream channel or TV or whatever, right? Network. And it's Mark Cuban. Right? So Mark Cuban would definitely give this a yes for All-Star team. Our All-Star advisors. That's a yes.
Right.
So, yeah. So the ones I have here, I'm very bullish on from initial research, right? Like 0x is a protocol, right? So protocols are, for the most part, supposed to be $1 trillion plays, right? In terms of you can make lots of money on. So 0x is something to watch out for. Akasha is supposed to be kind of like a social network, kind of like Facebook on a blockchain, right? Kind of much better than Steemit. And this is being done by one of the co-founders of Ethereum. Ethereum ICO. This could be your new Ethereum, right? So this is gonna get a yes for the All-Star team. Right. So this is kind of my strategy right now. And I'm working with some other friends of mine who have different hedge funds, who have lots of money, whales, as this is called in the space, right? Going through trying to create different criteria to measure ICOs. But initially, we're taking more of this like line shots or just taking things like a product. But now we kind of want to have more of a stable, consistent system to measure and grade these ICOs. Right. So now we're doing our homework thoroughly. Right. So this is kind of the evolution of that.
Okay.
You still there, man?
Yeah, I'm watching this, bro. I'm just digesting this, man. This is
it's a mouthful, right?
You know what I mean, bro? Like I said, man, this is like I'm taking notes.
But yeah, man, yeah.
Hey, you brothers watching this, you better write this down, man.
But yeah, so in general, right? So you can. So here's the other side of town.